This is Mission Spotlight reporting on the great challenge of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in the Far East, reaching the unreached. A part of the 541 such groups in the Far Eastern Division are tribal people in the remote mountains, animists who worship rocks, trees, and spirits of the jungle. For this report, Mission Spotlight takes you to the southern island of the Philippines, Mindanao. On this island, 5 Seventh-day Adventist mission offices serve more than 130,000 members. The Davao Mission, located in the city of Davao on the southeastern coast of the island, is one of the 5 headquarter offices. Workers at Davao carry heavy concerns during this period of unrest in their country, and they request the prayers of fellow believers in behalf of the members on their island. The mountains west of Davao are homeland for many tribal groups. One of these is the Ata, a tribe of about 21,000. For hundreds of years, these isolated nomadic people have eked out a subsistence on the mountainsides. Famine comes all too often. The women plant, tend, harvest, and carefully prepare their meager harvest of corn and rice. The men offer sacrifices to the gods of the forest.
Ayog kagkaulay kanamit to, kabusawan way kanamit kauntungan. Sa ini,
and hunt birds, animals, snakes, frogs, and rats to ward off starvation. Their colorful costumes are made of woven hemp, lavished with design and often elegantly embroidered. Such dress is expensive, and few can actually afford one. Until recent contact with people of the lowlands, many Ata tribes people wore no clothing. Each settlement has a chief called a datu. The datu's word is law, and all his people revere him. When a boy reaches the age of 14 or 15, he may become interested in a girl of 12 or 13. When he tells his parents, they notify the datu and present him with a part of the dowry. Then the boy and all his family go to the girl's family, who know nothing about this interest in their daughter. If the parents of the girl do not like the boy, they must pay him whatever he asks. If they are unable to do this, they must either give up their daughter, or the father will be killed by the boy or his relatives. Ubing is the datu of 200 Ata families who make up the village of Malapanit. For 10 years, Chief Ubing watched a farmer working in the fields nearby. The farmer, Anio, was a Seventh-day Adventist who took his carabao 10 miles from home up into the mountains to raise food for his family. One day, the chief approached Anio and asked how he might find help for his people. The farmer gave him directions to the mission office. In the fall of 1984, Chief Ubing made his way to the Seventh-day Adventist mission in Davao. On that day, the Ministerial Association Secretary for the division, Elder James Zachary, was visiting Don Hanarato, the educational director of the mission.
Kinanglan ako kanang mga matutudlo diha sa ako o gantod mga eskulahan.
Elder Zachary, Dato Ubing is asking teachers to be sent to his place. He says that for 30 years he had been asking the government to give school for their village, but the government did not care.
Hanarato and Zachary listened as the chief went on to tell them that he is getting old and that his greatest wish is for his children and grandchildren to become educated. Please, he pleaded, don't fail us. We have been disappointed so many times. 1 year later, October 1985, Mission Spotlight entered the remote mountainous territory of the Ata in the central highlands of Mindanao. Nearing the village of Malapanet, guides pointed to the little school in the valley beyond. Two ministerial graduates of Mountain View College, Jeffrey and Osias, moved to Malapanet soon after the chief's visit at the mission offices. From the mahogany forest, the Ata had hand-sawed huge timbers into lumber to build their school and a duplex for their teachers. They had carried the corrugated roofing piece by piece from a road 20 kilometers away. The young teachers prayed for the Lord to help them learn the Ata language, for guidance in directing and teaching the people, for strength to cope with the unknown dangers. They arranged for clothes. They began to teach them how to keep their village clean, how to bathe their bodies in the nearby river, how to take medicines to combat malaria and other prevalent diseases. They helped clear a level piece of land and showed them the proper way to grow rice, not merely for their own needs, but so they might soon become self-sufficient. The big challenge was to teach them how they could better their lives through productive work. Gardens began to yield cassava, beans, and sweet potatoes. Now they could teach them how to prepare good, nutritious food. In school, they taught them the importance of eating only foods that are good for their bodies, the importance of personal hygiene, and stories from the Bible in a language the Ata had never before heard.
Remember the Sabbath day. To keep it holy.
At 3 p.m., October 10, 1985, 16 youth from the Malapanet School were baptized, the first of the Ata tribe people.
Inigugma igsoon kang Kristo, tungod sa imong gugma ngadto sa aton Dios ug tungod sa imong pagpakigsaan nga ikaw magamatinumano na sa pag-alagad kaniya ug nga imong biyaan ang kinabuhi nga
As each
masad-anon.
stood with their hands folded, tears streamed down their faces into the water below. It was a significant happening. The Ata are a people who have resisted the influence of Islam and Christianity for hundreds of years. A short distance from the school, villagers and church leaders from the division and local mission gathered to break ground for their church, the first in one of the unreached tribes of the Far Eastern Division. Elder Zachary spoke.
As you follow the Bible, you will have a better life. As you work in the garden, you will have better food. But the best of all, as we follow Jesus and become a member of His church, we will be preparing for a place in heaven. And there'll be no death there. And there'll be no sorrow there. There'll be no tears there. And we'll be with Jesus.
After the groundbreaking ceremony, 9 other chiefs from nearby villages joined Datu Ubing. They pleaded, "Send us a teacher too. We also must learn these things." One of those chiefs, Datu Dancing, was very involved and helpful in building the school at Malapanet. He has been so impressed with the changes in the village that he has expressed intent to be baptized. When this happens, all his people will follow. For over 10 years, students from Mountain View College, located in central Mindanao, have gone out as student missionaries to the tribal people in their hinterlands of their island. They have lived with the people. They have learned their language. They have ministered to their physical sicknesses. They have taught them the healing power of Jesus. 10 years ago, a chief of a Manobo tribe invited 2 student missionaries to his village. Today, there are 1,500 Seventh-day Adventists and 5 schools in this area. When those student missionaries came to that Manobo village, Hermelina was 13, the time when she would ordinarily be taken as a bride. Hermelina listened to the missionaries and gave her heart to Jesus. When she did this, her father beat her and persecuted her. She was forced to work in the fields for months at a time with very little food. She was forbidden to sleep with her family. But Hermelina was faithful. After 7 years, her parents and 11 brothers and sisters were baptized. Today, one of her brothers is a student missionary out among the Manobo people. And Hermelina is studying at Mountain View College to become a teacher among her people. She works in the home of Alec and Isabel Paines. It was Alec who won the confidence of her father and baptized the members of her family. Don Christensen, pilot, ADRA director, and financial consultant in the southern Philippines, is directing the construction of airstrips wherever it is possible in the tribal areas. Easier access, says Christensen, hastens the work that can be done among the unentered tribes. The Davao mission, he says, has set an immediate goal: to preach the gospel to every Ata person in its territory. A portion of the 13th Sabbath offering this quarter is designated to help reach the unreached throughout the Far Eastern Division. This is Mission Spotlight.